I wanted to just say one thing quickly before I got into my message this morning, and that is I want to just remind you all that you have a good thing going on here. It's important that we take time out to remind each other of this. Any place where people such as yourself come together to stand for something and not be against anything, it's a good thing. To have your doors open so that people can find their way here who are looking for you and what you have to offer. It's a good thing. And sometimes those of us who are so close and intimately involved from Sunday to Sunday, and those who are on the outskirts who are here and sometimes and maybe not here other times, we can forget just how good our good thing is. So let me remind you, you all have a good thing going on here. So the title for my talk this morning is You've Got to Believe in Something. Now, it was the great Pointer Sisters in the movie Car Wash. Y'all know the movie Car Wash? Yeah? It was in that movie where they sang, You've got to believe in something. And how true it is. How true it is. As we find ourselves in a world where many have lost faith in those we've elected to serve with integrity and to uphold their oaths, you and I, we must find within ourselves a place of confidence in ourselves and in each other. As we find ourselves in a world where people say one thing and do another thing, it is you and I that we must come to have confidence in. We can say it another way. I need you and you need me. At my church, at my center, I like to tell the congregation to tell their neighbors every now and then to repeat back something to them that I've just said because I think it's so important. So if you'll join me in telling your neighbor, I need you and you need me. I need you and you need me. So one way that I can be confident in myself is to know what I believe and to be very clear about what I believe. And from our reading this morning from Dr. Howard Thurman, he gave us something to consider. He suggested that in order for us to call something a belief, that it must have a decisive quality about it. That if we say we believe it, then it must do something to us on the inside. It must somehow stir us and move us into action, as he gave us a very clear definition of what a belief is. He says it's not dogma. It is what one does, and it is what one practices. A belief is what you do and what you practice. So our beliefs must move us in a real way, cause something in us to be moved. It's what we do and it's what we practice. Dr. Howard Thurman suggested that beliefs are not accidental or incidental. In other words, what we do, it's not accidental or incidental, it's intentional. It's conscious. We are aware that we are doing what we are doing. What one does is not accidental. It's not by chance. It's intentional. Our practices are consistent. It's not maybe we feel like practicing, maybe we don't, maybe we feel like taking a moment for meditation and contemplation, reading and journaling. No, he suggests that it's intentional. It's not accidental. It's not by chance. Not when you have a second. Not when you get a moment. Our practices, consistent, so that our doing then derives from our practice. Whatever it is then that we believe, or whatever it is then that we do, that it derives from our quiet time, from our contemplation time, from our prayer, from our stillness, from communing with the divine intelligence, infinite intelligence within us. And so, those of us who choose to stand for something and to be against nothing, we've got to be clear that there can be no distinction between what we say we believe and what we actually believe. We've got to be clear that what we say with our mouth is what you are going to find me doing. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So the problem is, though, is that oftentimes we fool ourselves thinking that that what we believe is derived from our association with something, or fooling ourselves believing that what we believe is derived from something or someone. We fool ourselves thinking that proximity is a substitute for practice. Proximity is not a substitute for practice, although proximity allows us the opportunity to practice. But it's no substitute for practice. We fool ourselves thinking somehow that proximity grants us immunity from the world. But proximity is no substitute for our practice. Proximity is it doesn't have the fuel and the fire to move us into action so that what we say we believe is demonstrated out in the world, that our words and our actions match. So if we are not aware of this, then soon we find out that what we say we believe in is actually not a belief at all. It's not a belief at all. As Barbara shared with you all this morning, I'm from a small town in Tennessee, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And I would say that my family on my father's side is religious. If you ask me to describe them, that would probably be the first word that came out of my mouth. They're religious. So religious that my grandfather, on land that he owned, he built a church. And the church is still there. Grace Missionary Baptist Church. My grandmother and my aunt were founding members of the church. And at times, probably were the only members of the church. They could tell you the name of every pastor, and they could quote the Bible like it's the back of their hands. The church was built before I was born. So it's been there for some time now, I must admit. But at the time of my grandmother's death, my aunt, who barely missed a Sunday service, who barely misses Bible study, at the time of her mother's transition, what she believed was put on full display. So, my grandmother made her transition. I got on the plane and I arrived in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. and I went directly to the church. At the church, they were having her viewing. And so all of the family and friends was there. The small church was packed. And when I got there, I was stunned by what I saw. My aunt, as I said, what she believed was on full display. You see, her sister, the crazy one, had let everybody know that she was going to officiate her mother's funeral service, and she was also going to do the eulogy. But you didn't miss the point that I said, the crazy one. So my aunt was full out crying. She cried and she cried and she cried because she didn't want her sister to lead the service and to do the eulogy. It bothered her so much that everybody in the church was crying. They were upset because she was upset, and somebody would mention something about the crazy sister. Then one of the family members would get up, they'd bolt out of the church, they'd come back in the church, and somebody else would mention about who's going to be officiating. Somebody else would get up out of the church, get up out of their seat, bolt out of the church. This went on for a good hour or two, at least it seemed that way. And if you didn't know that my aunt had been involved in a church for more than 60 years, you might have been thinking like I was thinking. Where is God? Or don't you believe in something? Don't you believe in something? How has you, a woman, for 60 years, rarely missed church, deep in the book, could be so caught off guard, where it was seeming that everything that she had learned in those 60 years was nowhere to be found. Whatever she had been believing for 60 years, nowhere to be found. You've got to believe in something. We've got to believe in something. We've got to be moved to do something. We've got to be committed to the consistency of our practices. That's our belief. So, to believe is a great principle to live by. And Dr. Ernest Holmes, who's the founder of Science of Mind, which is, and Centers for Spiritual Living, which is the community that I am affiliated with, and the Center of Peace, he says that to believe is a great principle to live by. And Ernest Holmes says that the principle is infallible. The practice, however, is what we make it. So, what is it then that we are to believe in? In his book, Ernest Holmes, in his book, Living the Science of Mind, I wanted to just read you a little bit from it, from a reading titled, God, Your Personal Self, the Life That Is Within You. Ernest Holmes says that the life within you is God, and whatever is true of God is true of your life, since your life and the life of God are not two, but one. The enlightened have ever proclaimed this unity of good, this oneness of man with God. He goes on to say that this life within you, being God, did not begin and cannot end. Hence, you are immortal and eternal. You can never be less, but must forever be more yourself, as this life within you unfolds through your experiences, through your gathering of knowledge and wisdom. He says, evolution is the drawing out of the God principle already latent within you. It is this God principle within you which Jesus referred to when he said, "Before Abraham was, I am." And when he said to the one who passed from this life with him, "Today shalt thou be with me in paradise." And another reading in the book, if you give me one more minute to share with you, titled "The Silent One Within Us," Ernest Holmes says, we find this saying in the Upanishads: "The silent one, the knower, ever resting in us, may walk, stand, sit, lie down, and not do anything at his sweet will." And in our Bible it says, "I will work, and who shall let it? Who shall hinder?" What are these, he says, but statements of the absoluteness of the supreme as the all-conquering power of the Spirit. And this all-conquering power of the Spirit finds self-expression through you and through me. He says the supreme being is at the center of each one of us. To it we may come for guidance, and from it we may draw both inspiration and the power to live, stand, walk, or sit. Every act is an outcome of consciousness. Every movement is within the divine being. And since the divine being is everywhere, it must also be at the center of our own life. It is not only at the center of our own life, it is the center. Hence, to think of it as the very essence of our own being is clear thinking. To know that its being is our being is right knowing. And to declare that its life is our life is to permit its power to flow through us. What is it that we should believe in? Since it is true that we've got to believe in something, well, why not believe in the life that is within you? Why not believe that life is so dynamic? Why not believe that you and I have the power to draw out what's already within us? Why not believe in the eternal, infinite truth and beauty and harmony and joy and wisdom and love that's already within you? Why go search and seek for it? Why not just believe it and act from it? Why not? The great Pointer Sister said, why not? The great Pointer Sister said, you've got to believe in something, and they followed it up by saying, why not believe in me? Why not? Why not believe in the life that is within me? Why not? Why shouldn't you believe in the life that is within you? Why not? Why not believe in the supreme being at the center of your life? Why not? You see, our outer actions is a reflection of our inner consistent awareness of our oneness with the one thing that is everything, by whatever name you choose to call it. Our consistent awareness of our oneness, our complete awareness of our oneness. It is a reflection of what we believe. It is the cause of our action and the thing that causes us to be consistent in our practice. And you and I, we are way more than we ever imagined ourselves to be. You've got to believe in something. Why not believe in me? See, the thing is that when you practice, when you're consistent in your practice, and when I'm consistent in my practice, when we all are consistent, then that when you're doing stems from a place of sacred holiness, and my place stems from a place of sacred holiness, then we've got something to believe in. See, I can believe in you when I know that your practice is consistent. You become the oath keepers. I need you. You need me. I need you to practice. I need you to be consistent with your practice. You need me to be consistent with my practice. I need you to do what you say you're going to do. You need me to do what I say I'm going to do. You and I, we have got to believe in something. And that something is you, and that something is me. In fact, it might be the only thing we have to believe in. Brothers and sisters, you got to believe in something. Why not? Believe in me. Amen.